Before becoming the witness, one member of the Precursor species didn't want to forget their friend. A friend who disagreed with the choice of merging their species into one being in pursuit of the final shape. This character fled and may still be out there. So today in this video we discuss this deep connection between the characters and a possible link to victory in the saga's conclusion. Today we discuss the final shape lore which we've been doing, but also speculate towards the end. We don't have answers, so it's always fun to ponder what might actually happen, or what could, even if some of the theories are crazy, but leave your thoughts in the comments below. HN and RS, they are precursors. I've read their thoughts before, so I won't bore you with paragraphs of text again, but we're going to summarize these two entities and their beliefs over time. Let's first start with HNW 047622. At this point, I don't think we're sure what the significance of these letters and numbers, what they mean, but of course we'll shorten it for now with just HN. In the first couple of pages, HN believes in maintaining ethical integrity, even if the outcomes are not immediately beneficial, and they oppose coercion or harm as a means to an end. HN values the importance of consent and understanding, arguing that the final shape, if truly beneficial, should be convincing enough on its own without needing to be imposed. The character questions the moral validity of using harm, even minimally, to achieve a greater good, implying that ends do not always justify the means. They advocate for humility and the acceptance of one's limited perspective, and that acknowledging limitations is crucial to ethical decision-making. HN prefers theoretical perfection and principled stances over practical actions that may cause harm, emphasizing the importance and ethical principles. They also highlight the historical misuses of the gardener's gifts and questions the lack of guidance and correction from the gardener, leading to a deeper ethical ambiguity. On the other side of that, you have RS, their friend. They argue for the necessity of taking action, even if it involves coercion, to prevent future suffering, viewing inaction as complicitly in harm. They believe in the moral imperative to act towards the final shape, where the end justifies the means, as long as those means are guided by compassion. They criticize waiting for a perfect understanding or condition to act, believing that action and involvement refine perfection. RS accepts that some harm may be necessary for a greater good, comparing it to medical or agricultural inventions where immediate harm leads to a beneficial outcome. RS has faith in the gardener's role in encouraging growth and improvement, seeing their mission as helping others based on their experiences and overcoming suffering. Theirs is more of a utilitarian approach, willing to accept that short-term harm for the long-term benefit of preventing greater tragedies and suffering. RS sees awareness of suffering and potential for improvement as a moral call to action, advocating for intervention to guide others towards better outcomes. So you can see how the two are very different. HN believes in that ethical integrity, opposes coercion or harm as a means to an end, when RS is the complete opposite. If some harm needs to be done for the greater good, they're all for it. Towards the end of the Entelechy book, we have an entry from HN, and things have completely changed. The two characters' thoughts have flipped sides. After a long period of debate and conflict, the consensus, this group that went on to form the Witness, decided to move forward with their plan to shepherd the universe toward its perceived ultimate potential, despite past disagreements and the violent elimination of opposing factions like the Nihilist and Solipsists. HN writes to RS with a tone of regret and reflection, acknowledging the violence and actions taken to achieve consensus, but also expressing deep personal doubts and the emotional weight of the decisions. Overall, it's like a blend of an apology, explanation, and a plea for understanding. The consensus's decision to actively shape the universe towards the final shape, involving violent actions against dissenters. HN's personal struggle with the actions taken and the ethical implications, reflecting on their own role in the change in perspective over centuries. An appeal to RS's compassion and ethical stance, hoping that their return and acceptance of the consensus's path would validate the actions taken and the direction chosen. The imminent transformation of the consensus and its members into a state of perfection that eliminates doubt, dissent, and the memory of past conflicts, with HN expressing a desire to remember and retain the essence of the relationship with RS despite all of this. So it does seem weird for HN to acknowledge RS near this end. Maybe it's one last message to clear up the relationship before becoming the witness or trying to, but what if it was more? The precursors of this consensus exuviate or shed their former selves, forget memory and their previous lives to become this one entity in search of the final shape. So it likely does not remember its own species at this point or their past, but what if it somehow did, or what if we could make it? It's hard to know if entities like HN hold any control over the witness itself. It's an entire species merged, but do certain important characters sort of guide the decisions, or are they simply just one mind? The witness used the power of light and dark to mess with our ghost, and Osiris says maybe we can do the same. I don't know how that would happen, but the precursors used to use those powers of the light and the gardener, so what if somehow we could make it remember through that? Maybe a Savathun-like Witch Queen moment. We showed her the beginning and how the witness tricked her species. What if we can do the same with the witness? Show it the precursors from the past, show it RS.
Ghosts.
Ghosts? As far as I know, Neomuna never had any contact with a ghost before you all showed up. We knew about them, but...
Precisely. Chioma Essi was researching the entanglement of light and dark without fully understanding either. Our ghosts are a link to the light of the traveler. Then how was the witness able to, on numerous occasions, communicate through them?
Is this about the magnets thing? The parallel energy fields, right?
Very good. In areas of darkness, the witness is able to create a link, not unlike what it created with the Veil and the Traveler.
Ah, like the Vex are able to hack into the Cloud Arc with their tech. It's a parallel connection.
And I believe that connection may not be one-sided. I believe that our ghosts may be able to leverage this connection against it.
Turn the enemy's weapon against them. Well, that sounds great. But how?
That, I do not know. The witness has played all the pieces it can. This is its final act, win or lose. Whatever we do from here determines the fate of everything.
Now, I find it highly unlikely that a creature with enough rage to burn the stars to cinders themselves, as Mara said, would be willing to listen or change at all, but is there any weakness? There has to be, right? With all of this, it also brings up the question, where is RS? In the end, they turned toward the belief of life and creation, turned away from the ideals of coercion and harm to achieve the final shape. Do they still exist somewhere? Or was their story simply another way to show the dysfunction in the Precursors' final shape? The Gardener was with the Precursors for a millennia, it stated, so it's unlikely RS has anything to do with the Traveler specifically, but it is interesting to think about. Where did RS go? Did they end up in some random system, maybe here on Earth, or dead? So do you think the Witness has any weaknesses, maybe RS or something else? And how will the Guardians come to defeat it in the final shape? Anyway, if you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.